Oh, fuck off. I don't know what it's saying. What's my verdict on the Ozer? So the other day I posted a video, this one, comparing the Epson to the brother when making stencils. And someone commented on it saying, bro, get an Ozer printer. Ozer printer, it's better than the brother and the Epson. So I got an Ozer printer. Arrived today. I was going to be doing a video on making stencils and comparing different stencil applications, but I got something new and shiny, so I want to do this. Here we have the Ozer Quick Stencil. I've got to have a fucking app. Why is everything got to have a fucking app? I don't want the goddamn app. All right. Let me grab my iPad, I suppose. Guess whose iPad is dead? Everything has to have a fucking app, doesn't it? If you want me to download your fucking app, you should put a QR code on it. And I don't want to get the app once I've opened the box because I want it to be downloading. I've searched for Ozer printer and there are two options. Some smart printer app, and then there's the Quick Stencil. Considering this has Quick Stencil written on it and that says Quick Stencil, I'm going to assume that it's probably that one. Right, while that's downloading, let's have a quick look and we'll open this shit and talk about what it actually says inside. So firstly, it's telling me how big the battery is. Tell me what that is in hours. It's also bragging about its high resolution at 203 dpi. Now, I wouldn't brag about that if I were you, because the brother printer has a DPI of 300 and then the Epson printer has a DPI of 1440 when doing black and white, or 1200 in color. So the Epson has 3 times the resolution of the brother. The Epson has almost 6 times the resolution of the Ozer. So don't brag when you're at the bottom. It's embarrassing. Fucking privacy policy. Good thing this was delivered by Amazon, so the box is all scuffed up, makes it nice and easy to get into. Please read the manual inside the packaging before use. I do like the branding of this, the nice black and the little pink sticker. I'm a sucker for a colour palette like that. And then when we open it up, that's kind of it. USB cable with a USB cable, a little packet to carry it in, and stickers. I actually fucking hate stickers. It's just shit for me to have. The problem is, I don't want to put your brand on my shit when I have it because I have to use it. I don't have no alliance to you. Couldn't connect to the printer, so what the fuck's the app for? Right, so I downloaded an app and now it's telling me to grab my laptop. They've very kindly given me, firstly it's labelled USB cable and then has a little pen drive inside. I don't love the idea of using that. I can't read that, it's just, I can't. Alright, what happens if I press photo editing? Let's have, oh fuck off, I don't know what it's saying. It's saying too many things. I'm trying to sell it to me. It's 329 yen, which I feel like I might have been ripped off because that was $300. I'm not sure the conversion rate, but I think the yen is way lower than the dollar. Way lower. What? So I've gone on the Ozer website, went on support and download. I've got the Windows download for Windows 11 or the iOS download on the App Store. But not one of these is a clickable link. So, some cheap Chinese shit. Always with this shit. There isn't a single link on here. Powered by Shopify. What are you talking about? Okay, so you can't click. You can click on the Play Store, you can click on the App Store, but you can't click on the Windows version. Let's use the iPad app. So far, I think it's garbage. Because this is the image that I used in the last one, the last video, I'm going to use this one again so we've got a good comparison. I'm going to click on Create and Filter, and it has given me 7 options for filters. I assume these are for stencils. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Black and white for some reason, inverted another reason, and then like desaturated weirdly. I guess that one is the closest to a stencil that I might be able to read. I don't know. I guess so. I suppose I've saved it now. Ooh, print. Let's put a bit of paper in. See how this goes. I just did a test print and you couldn't see, so try again. So problem number one, we actually have no control over the scale or the size. If we go to the print settings, we can choose how many prints, the anti-wrinkle mode, and the thickness. I don't know what thickness means. This is the only option I've got. What happens if I press that? Oh, it's just a zoom option. So I have the option of printing it that size or that size. That's not how life works. We have tape measures on the table here so that you can pick how fucking big it is. This printer sucks. Okay, so it says this side should be face up and just insert here. It's grabbed it. It seems to be quite level, which is something the brother doesn't do. It's fed it in nice and level. I'm gonna press print. Signal's going through. Wow, magnificent. I can have it massive or massive. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be able to print it off of 15 centimeters so I could compare it to the ones I did before, but that's not an option. Let's have a look at the actual print. All right, well, considering that it came out massive, the paper isn't wrinkled and it's not doing anything weird that the brother might have done, but it's come out fucking huge. Oh, that's not true. I'm looking at my reference over there and these lines are all added by the printer. Let's compare side by side. There's definitely some information missing and there's definitely a bunch of shit that is put in there for me that I don't necessarily want. It's hard to tell if it's all grainy and shit and pixelated because the printer is all, that's all it can manage. It is 203 dpi, or whether it's because this is grainy and pixelated. So I'm gonna have another go at trying to make the computer work, try and get the fucking drivers on there, and we'll try and use some software that can actually give me some options. So this piece of shit. Okay, well, it's not showing up. So plan B is, of course, to hardwire it in, which, if I'm going to plug it all in, why would I? Nah, not impressed. There's one USB-C port on the back, so hopefully you don't need to plug it in and charge it. I'm going to look for printers. My laptop can't find the printer. Oh, there it is, the M08 Pro down here. I'm going to unplug that and restart my computer because nothing's fucking working. Okay. So this time I've opened the stencil that I used in the last video. Exactly the same, nothing has changed, just that skull, but this is the stencil I used making Procreate. I'm going to hit print. I'm going to set it to 15 centimeters, so it's the same as last time. And then I'm going to set to the M8 Pro. We're going to see. I didn't put any paper in. Didn't put any fucking paper in. Should be receiving a signal. Now the dumb thing about this is this cable sits immediately on the back. So this stencil is going to print straight into it. Now it seems to be making the exact same mistake as the brother printer did. Yeah, look at that shit. What's all of this around the edge? We've got all these lines here. It's making the same mistake as the brother printer did, where it cuts off the top here. And it's also added these two thick black lines at either side, just to make sure that I get more stencil on my hands. Using the iPad app is fucking useless. But what happens if I try and print it straight from Procreate? So I can't print it without using their app. I only have two options. Option one is the Epson. Option one is the Epson, and option two is the HP. The HP is our just general printer for printing documents and that kind of shit. Flash for the flash boards. The Epson is our stencil printer. So without the app, you can't use it. The app only lets you print at the size that the app lets you print at. There's no control. I'm gonna see what happens now if I print off my stencil from yesterday. I'm also getting the Epson to print it off as well, so we can compare side by side. The Epson seems to be taking an awfully long time, and the print quality looks like absolute shit today. So I'm gonna quickly check, I'm gonna do a clean cycle on the Epson and see if that's why it's looking so fucking weird. This takes 3 minutes. So I ran a clean cycle on the Epson and it gave me a much better result the second time round. I should really give it another clean cycle, but I actually can't be bothered. So we can now compare the two prints. Now interestingly, the Ozer seems to have flipped the image for me, whereas the Epson, I had to flip it ready for the tattoo. So this is the flipped version that I put on the client, and then the Ozer has flipped my flipped version. So that's interesting to note. Also, it keeps those black marks even when you're not using the Ozer app to print the stencil, to create the stencil. So I would have to cut that bit off and print some extra on the sides to make up for it. All in all, I have to say, I am unimpressed with the Ozer. What's my verdict on the Ozer? I don't like it. I think that it is cheap, Chinese-made crap. Don't get me wrong, I believe all of these printers were made in a factory in China. However, there is some other quality control going on. There's a little bit more happening. There are big brands behind these printers expecting some sort of quality. The Ozer, I think, is cheap, amateurish shite. The fact that when I went on the website to download the drivers, there was no working link. This is supposed to have the drivers on it. Don't put random USB pens in your laptop. That's generally not a good idea. The only way to get it to work wirelessly was to use their app on my iPad. But then I had to use their stenciling software on the app, which led to, I've lost it now, an absolutely shit stencil. I had no control over the size, no control over the image. I think what they expect me to do is size it up in Procreate using screen size, which limits the resolution, and there's so much compression that happens when you expand an image and reduce it on Procreate that Photoshop doesn't necessarily do. The compression is too high. I'm trying to print it on a lower DPI printer using their inaccurate software. Now, I've spoken to so many artists who just size it up roughly on their iPad and then print that. If you are too fucking lazy to take a measurement and print it at that measurement, then that's the beginning of your problems. If you can't be bothered to take a fucking measurement, you're not going to be bothering to use the right needles or the right colors, or what other shortcuts are you going to be taking? This has a knock-on effect on the rest of your tattooing. You're not going to do a good job. This printer is just the beginning of your shit. I like how dark it was, but I would rather use the Brother with all of its better, more sturdy technology, or I'd rather use the Epson again with the more sturdy tech built into it. My verdict of this machine is it's a great beginner machine. However, it's not even a good beginner machine because you've got no control, and if you're going to start with no control, you're going to continue with no control. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Get the Brother. The Brother beats that thing in any way. It's a smaller printer. It's a more compact printer. Yeah, it might be more expensive. This was $300. The Brother printer is $529. So yeah, it's going to be $230 more expensive, but it's definitely $230 better. This is the wireless version as well. So I think that the PocketJet PJ723 is cheaper than that one. That's not the cheapest one. This is lazy, it's cheap, it's not good enough. This is not the tool of a professional artist. This is bad. Don't get it. Don't get it. I saw it on fucking Temu or whatever that website is. Is it for professional artists? No. Is it for me and you? Might be for you, cheapskate. Use the Brother, use the Epson. These two in my studio as a combination of devices. Great. I actually used the Brother yesterday on the palm tattoo that I did because the paper for the Epson was too thick. Use a Brother printer. Use one of the Pocket Jets. It's a better machine. Fucking waste of money. Hey, at least I spent your money, not mine. This is another thing, right? You need to use the best equipment. Now, granted, where I am in my career, I'm not trying out every new thing that every company puts out. But 5 years ago, 10 years ago, every time there was a new machine, I put the effort into buying it. I made sure I went out of my way to get all the new technology. Which reminds me, I'm going to do a video on eGive and why that's bullshit too. You have to get the best. That printer there being nearly $600, it is better than this printer at $300. It's better. If you are not charging enough money to afford these, you need to look at what that actually means. Are you not good enough? If not, then you're going to get good quickly. I'd like to help you with that because I think that we all should be doing our best. If you are not making enough money, you're not going to be able to give your clients what they deserve. Remember that you are changing people's bodies forever. And if you don't put 110% into every fucking tattoo that you do, you don't deserve to change their bodies. They have to pay you enough money to make sure that you buy the best equipment and you're not buying cheap shit. Don't cut corners. Don't buy cheap shit. Get something decent. At least now you don't have to buy it because I already did. Anyway, thanks for watching. If there's any equipment you want me to waste my money on and try out and tell you what it's like, let me know in the comments. If you have any more recommendations for me, I'm all ears. If you want to just see me pissed off about anything, let me know. Most of this shit pisses me off, so I'm happy to do a rant. Just fucking swearing at the camera about the shit that I've got on my table. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, join my Patreon, all that shit.